Hey, Rad World, let's talk Solo, a Star Wars story.
It was great.
It was alright. Solo, a Star Wars story, directed by Ron Howard and starring Alden Ehrenreich, Woody Harrelson, Emilia Clarke, Donald Glover, and Paul Bettany. I think, first thing right off the bat, what we should probably talk about is Alden Ehrenreich and his performance as Han Solo. I think that's the biggest question that people are probably wondering does he embody Han Solo? Can he pull off, this like one of the most iconic characters created in cinema? Can he do it?
My thing is you can never fully embark and embrace that character. You just can't do it. It's not him. But
I agree.
With that being said, he, in my books, absolutely killed it. He had his swagger. He even had his little facial expressions that we've come to know with Han Solo. And I mean, as you guys know, I'm easily pleased. It doesn't take a whole lot for me for movies, but I'm a huge Star Wars fan, so I'm a little bit more connected to this. And as growing up as a kid, Han Solo was my favorite character. I mean, of course, Princess Leia was as well, but Han Solo was right up there with her. So I feel like I had a lot riding on this movie, and
Definitely.
I was satisfied. I liked it.
I'm also satisfied with his performance. I think that where my issues lie as far as Han Solo is concerned in the film is not his performance, but more so some of the writing. They paint him to be very much of a hero in this film, and I wish they would have painted him to be a little bit more of an anti-hero. He doesn't have to be a bad guy, but I wish they would have given him a little, made his morals a little bit more loose.
I think with that, where we ended with Han Solo, even in the first 3 episodes, and then of course with the newer ones, we got to see what he truly is,
right?
And his persona that he's put on was just a hoax, and he's trying to lie to himself that he's really this person. So we really just get the bones of Han Solo.
I think the story that they've written here and the story where we pick up with episode 4, I think the dots are connected just fine. Mm-hmm. I think that it's just, this might be just me being a fan of the character and just
you said, what you perceived.
What I perceived as his character based on the information we're given in episode 4, I perceived him to be more of kind of a sleazeball and kind of a bad guy that made the righteous path. And in this movie, it's not necessarily painted that way. He's more they paint him up to be more of a hero, and I understand why they would do that, but I wish that they would have made him not. He doesn't have to be a total dirtbag or anything, but I wish that they would have made him be a little bit more of a cheat and a little bit more of a scoundrel, because that's kind of who he was.
His actions are much more justified with this Solo movie. Bam.
We're just going to agree to disagree on this one. Moving on from him.
Donald Glover.
We can go to Donald Glover.
Is that where we want to go?
Sure. Donald Glover's amazing.
I feel like that would be the next one.
Yeah.
He was really amazing.
Donald Glover's my favorite character in the whole movie. Well, second favorite character, actually.
Who's your first?
Chewbacca. He's amazing.
Oh, I know. Chewbacca's always my favorite.
I think that this is the first movie where Chewbacca has really been. He's just been Chewbacca. I feel like in all the other movies he's kind of the sidekick, and in this movie he was more of a main character.
Yes. I completely agree, and it was so nice.
He still has moments of comedy that are considered maybe possible one-liners, even though you don't know exactly what he said.
That
work out so well. The humor between Han and Chewbacca and their relationship
right there, and the chemistry
is absolutely perfect.
Yes.
Their chemistry is great.
Yes,
it's very good.
It feels like from the moment you are introduced to Chewbacca with that whole thing, I really, really, really wish that I could talk about it, but I can't.
It's good.
It was so good from the get-go. You're just yes, this is where their chemistry came from and their relationship, and it was just, I'm a big sappy person. I'm sure you guys know this already. So it was so great. I loved it.
Yeah, I don't want to overshadow though that we're about to talk about Donald Glover and how amazing he was.
Yeah.
Because Donald Glover is definitely Lando, 100%. I want to see a Lando movie. I want to see Donald Glover just.
It would be really cool.
His swagger is perfect. His voice is perfect. His mannerisms.
Facial expression.
Yeah.
I mean.
He's great.
Oh, yeah.
Moving on from Donald Glover and how amazing he is, Woody Harrelson, also great. Emilia Clarke, I think, did a fantastic job for what she was given. Paul Bettany was a little bit one note for me as far as being the villain character, but didn't really get a whole lot of screen time either. But I felt like his character was just like he's just the bad guy. Paul Bettany's always awesome, so like I never have an issue with his performance.
I like the small detail that they gave him.
His face glowing.
Yeah. Like getting a little bit redder when he would get angry. So that is like very minuscule on the scale of things, but really adds to his character because there was so much tension. Because like once, especially when he'd be talking to Emilia's character, and he was very calm, but his face kind of gave it away. It just added that tension and I really liked how they did that. It was all right. Words.
Overall, performances all great. The only character that I didn't really care for, and you're probably going to disagree with me, but with Lando's droid, L3, I felt like L3, as much as L3 had some very good one-liners in the movie, I felt like L3 was not a droid personality, which I know was like the character, but...
Then how do you think about K2SO?
K2SO is great. Because K2SO is great. K2SO is great because K2SO
is like L3, but just male form and like with this like a little like bit of C-3PO in there.
No,
like,
K2SO was still like a droid. Like the actions he took was still very droid. And that's what makes her character
so great because can I say it? She just wanted equal rights.
My issue with the character is not what she was doing or the lines she was given.
Okay.
It's the way the lines were delivered. The way she spoke was very much human and not droid-esque. Like, K2SO still spoke like a droid. C-3PO speaks like a droid. Like, she just didn't speak like a droid. That's my annoyance with it. It's not what she's doing or the lines or anything. It's just the performance, like the voice acting. Is the only, like, out of all the actors in the movie, that's the only nitpicking thing that I have as far as the actors.
I for once kind of agree with you.
So I was worried this movie was really just going to be a dumpster fire, and it wasn't. I'm actually extremely happy that it didn't feel super disjointed, because when another director comes in and takes over and has to shoot a lot of the movie, it's a very hard thing to do and a very hard thing to pull off, and the movie can really feel disjointed and feel like two different people were making the movie. Mm-hmm. I don't feel like that was the case. There are a few scenes where I feel like they were shot at very drastically different times, but the way that it's edited together as far as story and performance, it's all fine, but it's just, like I said, Han's hair, I feel like, changes a couple of times in the movie, but that's just me noticing hair. I went to beauty school. I don't know if you know that about me.
The score was very Star Wars, but there's like this little like interesting touch to it that just set it aside from all the others.
It set it aside, but I don't... In my mind, the score is one of my more negative things. I think that they utilize some original pieces from, like, John Williams stuff, really creatively in the movie, and I like where those pieces are placed. But it's the stuff in between that, like, ties it all together that felt a little too different for me. That didn't feel necessarily like Star Wars. It wasn't necessarily bad, but it wasn't as good as I would say, like, just... This movie's going to feel like get compared to Rogue One a lot because of the other one. I think that the score for Rogue One was a lot better of a score than the score for this one.
The way that I feel like that works for this particular movie, for Rogue One, it really, really ties into the episodes. Immediately ties into the episodes. This is what's going on. This is how it's affected where we started with like the whole Star Wars story. For sure. And then with Han Solo, him personally as a character has always been on the outside of Star Wars. He was never a Jedi. He was the scumbag that was like on outside of things, but he was still like a huge part of the rebellion, a huge like hero of the story and everything. So I feel like the score was then perfect for this particular movie because he is very much Star Wars, but he's much on his own too. Does that make sense?
That totally makes sense. Yeah, I get it.
I'm really liking how I put that.
I like how you put it too. It's good. You almost got me persuaded.
Woo!
My biggest gripe of the movie is really just the story itself. Even though the story, if you look at it, like take a step back and look at the story, it's a fun story, but In execution, I would say that for the most part, it's just all right. Like, kind of a little flat and predictable.
In the grand scheme of things, we've gotten bones of the story. Now we're getting the meat.
No, I don't think so. We've already gotten the meat of the story. Now we're getting, like, little filler things. It's like, this is how he got his gun.
Veins,
and this is how he got his vest.
Which
and
was
this is how...
Okay, we did... Okay, the vest was a little...
Okay, whatever. But this is how the ship looks the way it does now. And this is how this stuff things happen.
No, which was so great. Like, okay, you cannot tell me that those parts weren't really great to watch.
I can.
No!
You enjoyed all the fan service stuff.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Like every time like something would come up, like, oh, and I would do like a little shimmy.
Just dance in her seat. I'm gonna go ahead and give Solo: A Star Wars Story a 7 out of 10, which is a whole point more than what I said when we walked out of it. You've convinced me to jump it up a point. 7 out of 10 is a really good story.
I'm sounding like Chewbacca right now. Oh, and that was really cute too. How we know, like, how Han, like...
Let's not.
I give it an 8.5. 8.5.
8.5.
8.5. Bam. Rightfully so. It was really good and really enjoyable. And if your favorite character is Han Solo, then you need to go see this and you're gonna love it.
We're doing things again, obviously.
We just made a movie though. Like, we're busy. It's not like we're just like...
It's not like we're not doing things.
Our thumbs. Like, we're off to big things, guys. And we're kind of going through, like, a transitional period with the channel.
Yeah.
So please be
figuring
patient.
Stuff out.
Or let us know, like, what you would like to see. What do you want us to keep on the channel? What do you want us to add?
So what did you think of Solo: A Star Wars Story? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more episodes just like this one, and we'll see you guys next time, right here on Rad Entertainment.